All right, let's settle this once and for all. Should collectors focus on one thing, like only vintage, only autos, only one sport? Or is this actually holding you back? Today, I'm going to dive really deep into this topic. And by the end of this video, you'll know whether you should niche down or cast a wider net into the hobby. And hey, before we jump in, if you want the inside scoop on upcoming card releases, some retail restock patterns, hobby updates, join my free insider club. So comment below insider and I'll send you a link. You can click on it, put your email address in there, and every month or so I send out a email that has all the stuff in there: release dates, card shows, news, when Target's dropping things, when they restock, all that stuff. And that should help you out if you're trying to find blaster boxes, if you're trying to find mega boxes, or even hobby boxes as well. Or if you're trying to find singles, where's the best way to get them and things like that. I put some websites on there so you guys can help you guys out because, when I first started collecting, I didn't really know where, I was looking for and trying to sell stuff, trying to buy stuff. I didn't really know a lot of stuff. So I have all that stuff in the email. And let me know, what you guys think about that as well. But also comment insider. I'll send you that email and that'll be, free of charge, no strings attached, nothing like that. So again, comment insider and I'll send that link to you. Click on it, put your email address in there, then you're done. That's it. Nothing, no craziness, no money, nothing involved. So it's a good thing. It takes you a while to compile all the information, but it is good for you guys because, I don't think anybody does this and it's hard to find things online. So, I'll stop talking about that now. But so the case for specialization or specializing in a certain thing. Let's start with an argument for specialization. So what I mean by this is like when you zero in on one part of the hobby, like only like 90s inserts or Hall of Fame rookies, you build, expertise. Just like I zero in on science. I'm teaching about space. I'm teaching about weather. I'm teaching about, rocks and minerals, whatever that could be. And I zero in on that and I learn a lot about it. And so I can, teach the kids about it. When you zero in on like 90s inserts or like, wax pack error or like 70s cards, you get really involved and build an expertise that maybe you didn't even realize that you're building yourself. And what's rare and what's overpriced, what to grab when it pops up. And you also develop deep connections in that niche and with dealers, with other collectors that are the same as you, and you get inside info that a generalist or a person that is just like scamming or not scamming, but like scanning the entire, database of cards might miss because they're not going as in depth as you are. There's also something satisfying about chasing down every card in a set. And like I'm kind of a set builder, and like my last set that I was trying to build was one of those sticker sets, and like we got the 2024 2025 hockey books, and it comes with like 6 stickers or whatever it is, and we try to buy all these sticker sets and try to match the sets up. I know it's not really cards, but it's kind of the same thing. And we tried to match or get all the Santas for the holiday set, 2024 Topps holiday set. So like there's some sets that we try to build, and sometimes even base cards we try to build too as well, even though there's sometimes 600, 700, 800 base cards in a set. But I mean, we try to build them, and it's just fun, like trying to look for that last one, or like we need 10 more. Let's go on eBay and you get them for like $5 or whatever it is. So I mean, there's something satisfying about chasing down every card in a set, and that's kind of how I know a lot of people that watch this channel as well are like that as well, or like building a rainbow set or whatever that could be. And specialization can give you your collection focus, and let's be honest, it's easier on the wallet than chasing like everything in the entire world, at least in theory. I know a guy who collects only PSA 8 or higher Hank Aaron cards. Like he lives around me, and he's built one of the cleanest collection sets or sets around my area that I've ever seen. And he never wonders about what to buy next. It's always focused, and that's pretty powerful to do that yourself and not like stray from other things and focus on just the set that you want to do. And it saves you a lot of money as well, just by, just in the whole grand scheme of things. So that's a great thing to have. And like, if you're a specialization person, are you specialization? Do you focus on a niche? Do you are like, what do you, let me know what you guys are in the comments, and you can pause it and get into the next part, which is the case against specialization. So, you know, here's the flip side. If you want to look at the other side of the coin, yin yang, whatever that could be, right? Here's the flip side. If you specialize now too much, you can miss out on the fun that's happening right now just in the hobby. The hobby's filled with like amazing stuff. Like we talked about our last video, the All-Star Game set. That was a pretty cool set that nobody even knew it was dropped. Celebration, not many people knew that Celebration was dropping or even knew what it was when it first dropped. So there's a lot of things that you might miss out on, that because you're just specializing on 70s ins or 70s cards or 80s cards or Hall of Fame rookies or whatever that could be, you're missing a lot of the cool things that are happening right now in the hobby as well. And sometimes the best buys or the most fun comes from stepping outside your lane or your niche or things like that. I've seen people before get burned because they specialize just too hard on one area. They put all their money into one player, one set, one era, and when that cooled off, so did their enjoyment of collecting. This exactly happened to me because I specialize in Eric Lindros cards. I was a big Philly Flyers fan, when I was growing up back in the early 90s, and Lindros was like the big name, the next Gretzky, the next Lemieux, whatever that could be. And I tried to get all the cards that I could of Eric Lindros. And I probably have right now, 50, 75 different cards of Eric Lindros between his rookie years, sophomore, junior year, and so on and so forth. I have all those cards, and they're worth pretty much nothing, I have a friend that collected all Greg Maddux cards, and Greg Maddux, man, he's a Hall of Famer, right? And now, Greg Maddux is like, he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and he's, nothing. They're not even worth anything. You can find Greg Maddux rookies for nothing, So I mean, it's crazy to think that you have all the specialization and you just specialize on one area, but you lose out on everything else, and also you lose out on the area that you're specialized in because you're taking that big chance. And that big chance can just come on the wayside. So, then it makes your enjoyment of collecting, kind of, dwindle, because you're like, oh man, I did all this money and all this time collecting all this different sets and things like that, and now it's worth nothing. Like, do I want to even collect anymore? So that's like a big thing that collectors now, they're of age now, 40 years old, 35, 45 years old, when they were, in the wax pack era. That's the exact same thing people are saying right now. So that's why you have new people come back in the hobby after 20 years or 30 years, or people going out of the hobby because they're like, oh, I'm done with it. I can't do it anymore. It's too expensive, whatever that could be. And that falls under, the case against specialization. So a buddy of mine went all in on early 2000 football autos, and guess what? The market dried up and he felt stuck. And he said he felt more like investing than collecting at that point, and he hasn't really been back in the car collecting, for a few years now. So I mean, that happens all the time, and if you specialize too hard, it might come back and bite you in the end. So, that's another example of like, another case on the two sides of the coin. So you have to kind of look at the hybrid approach. And that's my next segment, is like hybrid. Like, so can you do both? Should you do both? Are you going to spend a lot of money doing both? Like, what's going to happen if you do both? If you specialize in a certain area, but you also, go outside the box and go into football a little bit, go into baseball a little bit, and just go concentrate really on hockey. But, spread your wings out and get like the main sets in each one, and just, start collecting that way as well. Honestly, a lot of collectors today are doing like a hybrid, because, you're going after all these chase cards. You're going after all the hype cards. Sometimes it's a Wemby auto. Sometimes it's a Paul Skeens, different sport. Sometimes it's a Mahomes. Sometimes it's Jaden Daniels. Sometimes it's C.J. Stroud. Whoever you're going after, it all depends on just the card, and they don't really care about what sport it is and things like that. So they specialize in a few key things, maybe like 90s basketball inserts as well, or Topps Chrome refractors. but they leave room for like impulse buys and nostalgia pickups and or cards that really just catch their eye. And I think that I specialize a lot, but I also do a hybrid approach as well. That I kind of go outside the box too. I haven't really collected hockey since I was a kid, and then I started getting Meach Cobb and Celebrini and Hudson and Wolf and like the four main guys from this year, the rookies from this year, and I started collecting them a little bit now just to see what's happening. I didn't really go buy a bazillion blaster boxes, but I went on eBay and just got a $5 card here, $10 card here, whatever that could be, and see what happens. I didn't really collect all the boxes and all the base cards and looking for autos, but I'm just seeing what happens and see if those rookies kind of pan out like Connor Bedard did a few years ago. So I mean, that's what keeps collecting fun. You put them in your box and you come back, oh man, I had that card. I forgot. I totally forgot that I had that card. And you pull it out and it's worth like double the price that you thought it was. And that's a pretty cool thing. That's what makes collecting pretty fun. And not that you're going to go sell cards or things like that, but it's cool to have like a $50 card in your stash and your you can show your kids and your friends and maybe get it graded if you want to like grade things, but you can get it graded, put it in in the back of your wall or things like that. A lot of people have like in their basements and they have them all on the walls. It's a pretty cool thing that they have. But it leaves you some room to do the hybrid approach because you can kind of go outside your box, and it does keep collecting fun. I personally focus on like a few specific things, but I see a card that reminds me of my childhood, or like a Bo Jackson card that I always tried to get, and or the moments that I loved, and I go grab it. I'm grabbing it, and I'm not having any regrets about it. So I mean, I said in the beginning of the video that I'm more like specializing, but I think I kind of come outside that a little bit and do a little both. So, I mean, maybe you do that too. So like, what are you in? Are you in both? Do you just specialize in a certain area? Do you just go after all the hype and all the big cards and try to get them? There's a different avenues that you can kind of go with sports cards. What makes it more fun in the end? So I mean, and that's what makes my last segment is like finding your balance. How can you find your balance without overspending? And this is like the main point of this video. I want to make for you guys to help you guys out, because I don't want you spending thousands of dollars and getting nothing in return. So this is what I recommend if you're torn between like specializing and being a generalist, is like set a main focus. A main focus is very important because you can choose one or two areas that you really want to build around. Maybe you want to build around the summer cards from like the Top Series 2, or you want to build on like the Topps Chrome set or something like that. And you kind of focus on one area instead of trying to get all these different crazy things, because you have prisms, you got prisms, you got big league baseball, you got Topps, you got Bowman, you got all kind of stuff, All-Star Game, Celebration. There's so many different ways you can kind of go, and you can just like spend $1,000 in a second. You know what I'm saying? So you want to just specialize in one area, maybe two areas, and just make sure you don't go crazy on spending on trying to get everything, because that's kind of how I was before. I'm like trying to get everything, and I had no money left. So I mean, I'm trying to specialize and generalize in one area that I want to really collect, and then maybe go outside the box and get some singles, and like that I like looking at some of those cards, or want to get LED De La Cruz card or a Paul Skeens or things like that. Leave in your budget. I would say leave about 20% for fun stuff, meaning like that way you can grab cool cards without guilt. So instead of spending like $35 or $40 on a stupid blaster box, spend that $40, and maybe you can get 4 or 5 cool inserts that you can put to your collection. So I mean, and you know what you're getting, and you don't know what you're getting in the blaster box. Yeah, you got a chance of getting good stuff, but I mean, chances are you're not going to get good stuff. So you can adjust as well as you go. Your interests will change, and that's normal. Don't feel like locked in that you have to do this. You have to do this every time. And I got to get the Top Series 1 every year, Top Series 2 every year, the Update Series every year, and I got to get it for 2026 and 2027. You can kind of go off your avenue and not just worry about just looking at vintage, working at commons, worrying about all that different kind of stuff. And you can adjust as you go. And remember your why, meaning are you collecting for fun? Are you collecting for investment or for nostalgia? That's your why. And your goal should drive how focused you are, because you want to go after what you're focused on. And collecting for fun, you can get anything you want, just make a set, and it's pretty cool. Show your friends, show your kids, and save them and hand them down to your kids, and then hand them down to their grandkids, and so on and so forth, like my dad and my grandpa did to me and stuff like that. And I'm not looking at it for investment, but some people are for investment. I'm not saying that's bad or not. But, do what you want to do, and don't worry about what anybody else says. And remember your why. Remember your why, right? And do it for fun, for investment if you want, nostalgia. Your goal should drive what you want to do in your life. So my outro is, so what do you think? Are you a specialist? Are you a generalist? Are you somewhere in between? Let's start a debate down below on what's good, what's bad about each one. I want to hear what you collect. I want to hear what you do. If you're finding this channel for the first time, I want to hear how you found this channel. I want to hear what you think, what you collect for. Why do you collect? And I want to hear your stories. This is the main thing. That's the main thing. Why I made this channel is to do that, not to make money, not to bash people and so on and so forth. This is like a community atmosphere that I wanted to do, that hopefully you guys can share in with as we're moving up the ranks of YouTube fame, I guess you can say. So don't forget to join the Insider Club. Comment Insider down below. I'll send you that link free of charge, and we can get that done. And again, everything's in the description. If you want to look in the description, like YouTube links, obviously we're on YouTube, but like TikTok, Instagram are on there too. Check us out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we appreciate you guys watching, and we will talk to you guys later. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you guys later. Do it for Dale. Peace